And before you know it, it starts to flow because it's already here. So in these minutes as we're waiting, I invite you just to connect to your body in this really nice way. Just do some stretching, stand up if you want, whatever. Go for it. Really connect to the body, let it be juicy and warm. It's nice to just go, good morning. Don't we just take our bodies for granted? Someone went, I heard that. We take our bodies for granted. So what if you turn toward the body as a often neglected, amazing friend, devoted friend, right? Complicated. It's a complicated relationship, yes. And yet, so see what it's like, hi, welcome. See what it's like to just this morning as we begin to turn towards your own body in this way that you would to a really devoted friend. And just, So stretch, move. And as you do so in a quality of friendship. And this is this connecting that I'll be going more into, and we can start with the body. It's so nice to do that. Just want to send a really warm welcome to those of you online. Welcome to the group here. And I'll just offer this prompt, as you settle into this moment as an opportunity for connection, warm, friendly connection. I'd just love to drop in the prompt, what am I missing right now? That's lovely. So just see what happens when you offer that. What am I missing? It's right here, right now. No matter how simple. And in that spirit of what am I missing, I talked about this last week. Often the negativity bias, which is the natural inclination of the mind, right? Is to notice what's wrong. And it keeps us safe, it keeps us on our toes. It's a survival mechanism, I guess, tendency. It's protective. But it can really rob us and blind us to all that is lovely right now. So that invitation of what am I missing is an opportunity to kind of break the spell of the negativity bias that can override our senses and really distort our view of reality. So let's get started. It's 10 o'clock and welcome everyone. And before we move into some practice, which we're kind of already doing, of course, in every moment, always an opportunity. What I'd love to do is just in the room here and online, I know we're a hybrid here. For those online, just as nice way to warm up the introduction and the connection. Online, go ahead and share in the chat, just say hi, something really warm and connecting. And in the room, just turn to the people around you, behind you, and just say hi, introduce yourself. And maybe just share, why you're here or what brings you. And just allow yourself to really say hi and connect. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give you just a little bit, some moments to really warm it up. And notice how it feels in your heart and body and mind when you really connect with this heartfelt, lovely way. Aha. Ooh. I see hugs. I see a lot of really lovely open. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let it flow. We are learning to let this flow. Oh, and this is such a beautiful place for that to happen. And those of you online, just share something really lovely and warm to everybody online and just kind of vibe in this. Hi, great to see you. I just love it. And for everyone, so everyone in the room, wonderful. How's it feel? You feeling that heartfelt connection, or you feel a little of that uplift of joy? It's so nice. Let's turn, everybody in the room here, let's turn to the camera. I think it's right here, and say hi to everyone online. Hi, everybody, we're here with you. Do you feel us? It's so nice. Yeah. So that's what we're already here. It's all here. We want to tap into it more deeply, more fully from the inside out, and then let it flow. I feel so much joy. So settle in, and my name is Lisa Kring. For those of you who don't know me, longtime practitioner Vipassana Buddhism, very happily, and longtime teacher here at InsightLA. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. But right now I'm a human with you all, cultivating the joy of heartfelt connection. Happy, joyful to be here in that spirit. So let's practice for about 30 minutes at home and here in the room. I warmly invite you to just connect to the body in this very natural, friendly way and find a posture that feels sustainable for about a 30-minute sit. And I'm so happy to guide you. And what I'll be doing is just allowing us to settle. And to settle in such a way so that we really begin to allow the heart to become free in this spirit of goodwill and natural friendliness, as natural as the sun rising up in the morning, breaking through any clouds, shining boundless and unlimited. So if it feels welcome to close the eyes, and as you do so, to turn the gaze inward and just starting exactly where you are. How does that feel for you to turn tenderly, directly to what's real for you right now? What's that like for you to turn towards? And let that turning towards let it be tender. And curious. It's radically intimate. And what's that like for you right now? Just giving you a lot of space to connect, right? We're really focusing and cultivating this capacity to be connected. So giving yourself all the space you need to turn towards, to drop in, to feel, and to know. Whatever is arising, all is welcome. All is welcome. If you like, you can meet yourself at your own door and welcome yourself in. All parts, often exiled or banished. Welcome it all in. See what that feels like to welcome it all in. In a spirit of deep connection and welcome. Offer yourself a seat right in the center of your own heart. And just see what that feels like for you. Welcome home. And as you find your seat in a wholehearted way, wholehearted, to deepen the capacity for connection, just drop deeper into this very good heart that brought you here this morning. Really feel a line drop into that warm, wholesome quality that is alive right now. Really soaking in that a bit as evidence of your presence here, whether in person or online. Something very good brought you here, without a doubt. That wants the very best for you and others. That senses there can be a deeper freedom. This good heart that is walking you home. So as you soak in that a bit, that beautiful, just really slowing down and allow yourself to savor the joy of connection to this good heart. And if that's a struggle in any way, perhaps you can expand into the good hearts gathered here and allow yourself to be held. Really feeling held, connecting to all of the good hearts here. It's a field of wholehearted connection that you can rest in. And as this warmth of goodness, natural goodness in the heart, as you become warmed up in that connection, if the image of a beautiful sun rising up through the center of your being, the expanded sky of your heart, just allow that sun of friendly goodwill to begin to naturally rise and illuminate the heart as it is, illuminating those bright places in the heart, of course, but also shining deep friendship and welcome and goodwill into any dark areas as well, of course. And let the light of goodness do all of this for you. Just let it rise up and shine. As real, as warm, as natural as the sun rising this morning. Natural. Abundant. Just soak in this light, this warmth, allowing that image And if you like, you can just stay with the warm rising sun of friendship and goodwill, of caring. You can just let it illuminate the heart. If this feels healing, and real, just soaking it up, illuminating. But if you like, you can continue to allow this goodness warm light shining, illuminating, radiating from this good heart. Let it spread and begin to shine into the body, illuminating all of its cells with friendship and care. It's a quality of warmth. Just let the light do this. See what it's like to really sit back and just let the light go wherever it wants to shine and illuminate throughout the body. See, and you may be surprised as that warmth, that friendship, it just shines wherever it needs to go. Warming up and illuminating the whole body and heart. Just letting it radiate in any way, letting it unfold naturally as it will. It will. Moving into the light of deep friendship, of welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, if the mind wanders, which it will, it will. That's welcome as well. You can allow the light of friendship also to illuminate the mind wherever it is. And see what it's like to just come back into the light, the image of the sun. Perhaps all radiating from that good heart that brought you here. And I can't say enough that while I'm offering invitations, allow this to unfold naturally in a way that is true and meaningful for you. But if the warm, radiating, illuminating, connecting, wholehearted light, like a warm sun, shining freely without obstruction in a clear blue sky, you can allow this light to continue to shine outward, beyond the boundaries of your own body, out into the world in any way. Deep friendship and care. Let that light shine into everyone here in the room, everyone online, as natural, unlimited as the sun. And invite you to just rest in the joy, any joy of this light within and beyond. As we come to the end of this practice period, just continue to allow that image of the sun, just resting in that warmth, just soaking it up, of friendship as freedom. Bless you. And I'd like to offer this poem. I read it last week, and it's just such a beautiful poem in this spirit. It's from the First Free Women, poems of the early Buddhist nuns. These are poems of enlightenment from the time of the Buddha. This one is called Friend. Full of trust, you left home and soon learned to walk the path, making yourself a friend to everyone and making everyone a friend. When the whole world is your friend, fear will find no place to call home. And when you make the mind your friend, you'll know what trust really means. Listen. I have followed this path of friendship to its end, and I can say with absolute certainty, it will lead you home. So feel free to stretch and stay in that warmth, stay in that light. You can feel the difference. I always love this every time when I open my eyes and there's so many more people here and online. It's great, it's a joy. So how's everyone feeling? And you know what I'll talk about is the joy of heartfelt connection from the point of view of this practice is really about understanding how often unwholesome mind-heart states can really rob us of the joy of our true nature. And how many of you noticed just in that practice, I'll break it down a little bit. We were really kind of practicing metta, and I'll talk about this. How many of you did feel that some of those hindrances typically that operate kind of dropped away and there was a feeling of freedom in that? Anybody notice that? Yeah. So this is really what we're noticing and tracking. We're noticing the difference. We're seeing how beautiful and wholesome it is, that there's no downside, that it serves us, it serves others, it sets us free to really be our best selves in every moment and to connect deeply to what's here. There's really nothing better in my opinion. So I would love to just talk a little bit with all of you, and then I'll leave room for questions and sharing, and then we can, in small groups online here, let you discuss and connect, because there's also this really beautiful experience of really enjoying the joy of Sangha, cultivating spiritual friendship. So I'll talk a little bit, but it's really in the spirit of really laying the foundation so that we can all get more deeply connected with each other. I just want to go over that the Buddha did offer these heart qualities, these heart-mind qualities that are refuges that we can really cultivate in every moment, depending on the situation. They're really attuned to different kinds of situations that can arise moment to moment, these different heart states, so that we can always find home in that way. Isn't that beautiful poem? We can always be at home in this beautiful quality, in these beautiful qualities as refuge, no matter what is arising in our lives. It's quite a statement. So just to touch on them, because I know that all of you know these, but I'm going to mainly focus on metta today because it's kind of the foundational one, you know. Metta is just this natural quality in the heart that we cultivate that perhaps is innate, but often it becomes obscured, like the sun, right, in the sky, obscured by clouds. But it's always there. It's still there, even though it becomes obscured. So that's a beautiful image, right? It's this natural friendliness. How many of you practice metta, familiar with metta? Yeah. So it's really just a lifelong practice. It's a quality of goodwill. It's an open-hearted, welcoming quality to ourselves, to others. And then, of course, there's compassion. This is this incredible capacity for the heart to wish someone well in the hope that they will be free no matter what their suffering may be. It's this incredible, powerful quality in direct response to any moment of suffering or struggle for ourselves or others, right? Equanimity. How many of you practice equanimity? Yeah. You know, this is this wise heart that in response to circumstances that are beyond our control or just we can't fathom. It's just so hard for us to understand. Do you know what I mean by that? And yet the heart can stay open even then, even in the not knowing, in the not being able to do anything about it at times, right? Staying open-hearted and connected even then. And of course, mudita. That's this quality of in relationship to other people who, when they are in a place of joy and happiness, that we can join with them and feel their light, really bask in that light with them. So we'll talk about metta. I did want to share with you though, because if you saw in that meditation, I don't know, I used the image of a sun rising in the sky to kind of help us experientially kind of tap into that quality, to let that rise in our own heart, that quality. And the Venerable Analayo, who's famous, very a scholar in our Theravadan tradition, has written many books on early Buddhist studies. He uses the imagery to express these different heart states, and I'll just share them real briefly before we dive into metta. For him, metta is best captured as the sun, like today in Los Angeles, high in the sky without any clouds. Isn't that a beautiful image? That's metta, just shining brightly without preference, without discrimination. Isn't that beautiful, the power of that, the naturalness, the abundant, radiant, unlimited power of that. So it's a beautiful image. Compassion is described as being the sunset. Doesn't that capture it? It's still shining, but it is dropping down, and it's into these deeper colors, right? Landing into the truth of our suffering with all of this light. And then mudita, this heartfelt joy, sympathetic joy for others, is the sunrise. Isn't that beautiful? Shining up into the light of other people's happiness, like rising up into that. Do you feel it? I like imagery because I feel like, it kind of cuts through the conceptual frame that often robs us of these qualities. And then equanimity, he describes as being the full moon at night. Isn't that beautiful? So it's a more subtle, radiant, luminous quality that's a little bit more distant, right? It's got that perspective, it's got that wisdom, it's holding back and seeing the much bigger picture. So let's dive into metta. And so, and I just want to, and I'll share a little bit about this, and this is in the spirit of cultivating metta so that we can know the joy of connection, of wholesome connection in any moment. So this is really about cultivating joy through metta in the heart. So that's a little bit of the framing of this. And, what we're doing, what we're really practicing is we're recognizing through mindfulness, and mindfulness has all the qualities of metta. It's like a good friend who shows up no matter what's happening, right? Can be with it. we're really tracking when the states in the mind heart become unwholesome. And we know what these are all too well, don't we? Aversion and greed, delusion, ignorance, as we say. And we're learning to recognize that mindfully, shining the light into that experience, and then realizing how much suffering that's causing us. Sometimes just the shining of the light, of seeing it, breaks the spell. I don't know if that's your experience. It kind of breaks the spell once it's seen, and then we can start to go, okay, how can I, in a very authentic, real, and honest way, begin to kind of bring the heart mind into a more wholesome quality, such as metta, in this moment, in response to whatever the conditions or the circumstances may be. So I'll say with joy practice and, with metta and all of these qualities, it really can only, I can't say this enough, it's kind of, we miss it a lot, myself included. It can only be accessed in the present moment, right? Just like right now, this moment. Can you start to land into it and know it? So there needs to be this quality of mindful presence in the moment. And then I like to say that it's an inside job. We're always so focused on external conditions, right? We think it's out there. But what we're doing is that independent, this is its power, independent of external conditions, we realize that it's not what's happening, it's how we're relating to, how we're responding in that moment that will determine whether we suffer more or whether it becomes an experience of transformation and healing and liberation. So we realize it's really from the inside out, and we take our power back. We find agency in our practice as we begin to land into the inside job of beginning to find that sun, right, behind the clouds, knowing it's there, knowing it's just obscured in this moment. Isn't that beautiful to know that it's already there? For me, it's very reassuring. And we start to land more into the warmth of this. The other thing I want to say about metta and about all practice, really, from a Buddhist perspective, and it's this heartfelt connection piece. From a Buddhist perspective, everything is relational. Isn't that amazing? That we're always in relationship. We're always in relationship. Isn't that wonderful just to let that sink in? How often do you think you're alone? How many of you just kind of think, no, I'm alone. There's no relationship happening right now. This is delusion. It gives me chills when I say it. We're always in relationship with our own minds. That's a heavy one. That's a big one. Wow. Did you hear that line in the poem? I'll read it again, I'll come back to it, but wow. We're always in relationship with our own minds, our own bodies, our own hearts, and then everything else. What about the earth? Do we ever leave its support, ever? Isn't it always here, the earth? The Buddha, in the moment of enlightenment, I find it very, very powerful to do this when I'm under the trance of Mara, right, as we say, or the hindrances, to just put my hand on the earth and just come back. Isn't it amazing, this connection of the earth, my witness, right? There is so much to connect to in the present moment, but we're often robbing ourselves of that. And we don't realize that it's, the Buddha did say, once again, a much radical thought, that because it is relational, any moment, every moment, this moment right now is an opportunity for full, complete enlightenment. Right? We go, what? We think, no, this needs to be here, or this needs to be happening, right? This should be happening. We really are in the way of what's already here. And we're learning to let that go. It's all here right now. And I mean, I've already said this, but we can miss the present moment and all of the connection that's here, all that's offering itself up to us for freedom, maybe complete enlightenment, which is really something for you to ponder. It's that the habitual conditioned patterns of our mind often are running the show, right, everybody? Right? It's driving the car a lot. And it's taking us elsewhere a lot of the time, right? It is. And we're waking up from that. And then it's often falling into aversion that's saying, what's here right now, I don't like it. If it were gone, I'd be happy, right? This is this delusion and aversion. And then the wanting, oh, what I really want is not here. It's not here. How many of you know that? If it were here, if that were happening, I'd be happy. I'd be okay. If I had this, if this were, do you have a long list, right, everybody? What's your list? Let's talk about our lists, all the lists. And so we're learning to track this, to understand, and to break its spell. And for me, so I want to share with you, just because I can talk about these things, but I'm going to share with you just a few experiences I've had. I think stories are a good way to transmit a little bit of how this can be. For me, this transformation process from an unwholesome state into a more wholesome meta state, it can be a very magical process, quite a magical process in which I open to the present moment. And it is experience of waking up and discovery, because usually my mind can never really know what's true. Do you know what I mean? When I get out of my own way, when the heart becomes free, then the present moment flows in and I'm just available to it. And all that I've been missing presents itself, and I become free, and it's so abundant. And I could have never come up with that on my own. Do you know what I mean, everyone? This is really quite beautiful. So it's really this experience for me of kind of breaking the spell. So I want to share with you just a few little instances, and you can be thinking on your own of I'm sure you could all share also your own experiences of this. So I'll just share a few examples. I remember there was a time, when I was just so contracted and having some difficult challenges in my life, and I felt very alone and very contracted and very lost, with the situation in my life, and very, felt very cut off, right? Very lost. You guys know that feeling? Anyone? I see some hands going up there. And I remember I said, okay, and sometimes what I do is I just let the body lead. I go, what happens for me, what can be helpful is I know that I'm in this state. I'm very aware, but I'm not quite sure how to get out of it. And it's very strong. And I know that if I can just let my body lead a little bit mindfully, just get into my senses. Do you guys know what I mean by that? It can really help break the spell, help me find my way back. So there's a trail up near our house that I can walk to. I was walking our dogs, and I was walking up the trail. And I just started to let the experience of the walking with the dogs just kind of move into the foreground of my experience. And this is hard to explain, but it was really quite surprising. And I felt really directly as I did that. It makes me want to cry. It was so moving to me. I felt the breeze against the skin on my arms. And it was just so loving. And I just went, and I was being touched, and I was being caressed all over my body. Isn't this a beautiful thing? I had missed it. I wasn't aware. And I stopped, and I wept, and I felt, and I just stood in the breeze. And I just let it caress me. And it was like an expression of metta, and it allowed my heart to flow into that experience. And I was able to access. The sun came out right in that moment. And I'll never forget it. And it's a practice that I do all the time now, where I might be walking and I might be, there might be some struggle. And I just let the caress of the breeze against my skin be an experience of love and of connection. And I did not expect it. So it was quite moving and quite beautiful. And it did restore me into a very different place. And then from there, it just flowed from there and I was able to find my way. So, that's not anything I expected. So this is the kind of quality that I mean. I don't know, do you ever notice the kindness of somebody very unexpected in situations, and they're just like the sun that's like shining right there in front of you in a way that you would not expect? I was returning an item at a retail store, okay? Just going about my business, and I was kind of in a state of getting things done. Do you guys know that state? Not super expanded, just like chick, 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 chick. And I walk into this store to return something, and there's a young man there. And I tell you, I'm gonna cry. It's so beautiful because it's so unexpected. But I immediately recognized he looked up at me, and he was just in the light. I don't know how to tell you, but he was just a beautiful young man. And he just said, "Hello, my dear." And with a smile, but he wasn't selling me anything. It wasn't that. He was really genuinely awake. And it woke me up. I went, and it startled me. And I went, and I looked at him and I said, I did this because it was so moving to me. And it was so unexpected. You guys have those experiences? And I just really loved it. Changed my whole day. And he was just so beautiful. He was beautiful, beautiful. And I just stared at him. Where'd you come from? And it didn't matter to him. I was there doing that, but it was independent of anything that we were doing. It was so beautiful. So, these kinds of things, allow yourself to be touched by it, by other people, especially when you're least expecting it. And then I wanted to share, how many of you get irritated by other people? So I'll just share really quickly, and I hope these stories kind of illuminate this a little bit. I was on retreat at Spirit Rock, and we're all there's a meditation hall, and we're all sitting there. And who's been on retreat here? So in retreat, you go into silence, right, everyone? You go into silence. So we're sitting in the hall, and the woman, and when you find, I was a week-long retreat, and you always sit in the same place in the hall. So whoever's around you becomes your energy field, So there's a woman behind me. And as we're practicing, especially when the teachers were doing their Dharma talk, she would talk. And she'd go, "Oh, yeah. Oh, oh yeah." And I just was like, why? Just the aversion. I just wanted to go, shh. It was really messing with me. And I just was like, I don't know how I'm going to sit here for 10 days with her going, ooh, yeah. And so I noticed the aversion. Of course, it's like, okay, here we go. And so I just noticed that quality, and I was able to work with it and let it go because it was causing me suffering, right? So I kind of did it for myself, to be honest. And then as she continued to do it, what I noticed was that what my mind then inclined towards was that she was really happy. And then it turned into mudita, right? Because she was like, ooh, she was really into it. And then I was like, I was like surfing with her and loving it. And it didn't bother me anymore. I was like, oh yeah, it's like mudita. And then here's the thing that was very unexpected. I never talked to her. I never turned around and looked at her. I didn't do any of that. So I knew who she was though. But at the end of the retreat, when we were talking, I was walking into the hall and there she was. And she looked at me with her arms like this. She goes, "Dharma buddy." And she just went like this to me. And I went, and we gave each other a hug. And you know what I want to tell you? She was really cool. I really liked her. No, I was like, I would have missed it. Do you know? I really, really, and I was like, she could be my friend. And how many people could maybe have been our friend, but we shut the door? I don't know. It just really was beautiful. And then I'll just end with one other one. And then I want to check the time. I want us to be able to share and reflect together and open up to questions. You know, we are living in a time of deep division, right? Maybe we always are, but it's because of social media and everything. And so how many of you do notice an aversive mind state around all the division? Of course, yeah. And this goes back to 2016, you know, in prior political time, election time. And I remember that on that same hike, right, where I shared about the breeze, I hike my dogs, and people are often hiking their dogs, and we all kind of get to know each other. So there was this one man who was hiking almost all the time when I was hiking, and he had a Make America Great Again hat on. And I noticed the aversion. Oh yeah, I mean, come on, right? We're not going to talk about politics here, but I'm just talking about the aversive state, right? And I was like, wow. And so I gathered up the courage because I wanted to really connect to this man. And I wanted to know and just say hi and connect to him regardless. And I wanted to let go of this. So I worked really hard at it. And I gathered up the courage to go up to him. And as I got closer to him, I was really nervous. As I got closer to him, you know, in the spirit of metta, really, to practice metta in this moment. As I got closer, the hat actually said, "Make America Gay Again." And I laughed, and I saw him yesterday, he's a friend now. I laughed at my own mind and all that I had created. I had created such a thing in my mind of who he was, and it was just a creation in my mind, right? And even if that hat did say what I thought it said, it would still be the case. So it's just kind of a way of that, you know, we learn to let these things go. Well, I want to give you a chance to, the other thing I wanted to move into, but maybe at this point I can open up to any questions because I want to let you guys kind of maybe share around this and ask. I do also want to turn into metta for ourselves, which, how many of you find that to be the deeper practice? And the more we can start with ourselves in this heartfelt connection, then it naturally flows outward, in my experience. And if we're trying to be metta with others, which we can, you know, that young man that I saw in that store, he clearly had landed into that for himself, is my sense, right? And then it's just there for everyone to enjoy. It's so beautiful. But so I want to kind of allow us to begin to land into some metta for ourselves in a very natural way. But before I do, are there any questions online or in the room about anything that I've said? If not, we can start moving into metta for ourselves and share in small groups and stuff. Are we all free? Oh yes, absolutely.
Actually, there was a question online.
Love it.
As to who was the reference for the sun rising in our heart space.
Yeah, it's the Bhikkhu Analayo.
Okay.
Bhikkhu Analayo. He is a foremost scholar of Theravadan Buddhism, early Buddhist studies, and he's the one and metta is his number one practice. And I was just on retreat with him in Spirit Rock, and I must say, his presence was like nothing I could explain in words. It was radiating. He was like that young man in the store, but beyond that, it was just amazing. You know it when you're with it. Do you know what I mean, everybody? There's no denying it. It is like that. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And say your name as well.
thank you for meeting me.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a question, but maybe more a share. And kind of just like,
I love
wanna
it.
understand if you've experienced this or anybody else.
I love it.
But lately, over this last week, I've kind of started to realize in my day-to-day life off
Yeah.
the cushion how often I'm not in the present moment.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like very liberating, but at the same time, it's really painful.
Yeah.
Because in every moment, I'm like, I'm not here.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to see it as a gift, right? It's kind of maybe an advancement of my practice where I'm able to take this out there, but it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
It's
it-
startling.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a suffering in a way.
Yeah.
And I guess I wanted to like hear if you've experienced that or anybody else, because
Yeah,
it's
who
very
knows what
profound.
Zoe's talking about. I will say my heart really opened in happiness, mudita, for you, even though I understand the suffering piece, that you're starting to notice this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really big.
So it's bittersweet. It's also
Yeah.
sweet, right?
Yeah.
This is really good news when you start to wake up, right? It is. But think
Yeah.
about it. The way I used to live before I practiced, I didn't even know that I wasn't awake. And
Yeah.
so deep bow, and to everyone else who is starting to have those experiences. And this kind of flows naturally into the practice that I wanted to offer. In those moments when there is some suffering around the waking up, which heart state do you think it's an opportunity for also to cultivate?
Metta, right?
Metta or
Compassion.
compassion.
Yeah.
Compassion, all these heart states, they're so beautifully designed. There's one for every, one of these will fit beautifully into any moment of your life. So when there's moments of this suffering, it's an opportunity for you to love yourself in that moment and for that to be okay. And, there's probably, all of us have a tendency to be a little hard on ourselves, right? Right. And so it's an opportunity for you to really say, okay, yeah, all right. Hey, let's wake up as much as you need to, honey. That's okay with me. That's totally okay with me. I'll be with you every time, and it's okay. This voice that we start to tap into, and then in my experience, it softens, even though maybe we're still waking up in this crazy way. But I want to say I'm so happy for you. I feel joy, mudita, for you. So I don't know, but I think there might be more joy than suffering in that.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, I was driving on my drive here. I was like crying because kind of similar to you with the like air on your skin.
I'll
Like
start
it is
crying,
really
too.
profound.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When you wake up, it's all there.
Yeah. And then you forget again, right?
I know, isn't it? It's
Which is
so,
the
it's so
suffering, right?
tragic. That's the ignorance. That's the
Yeah.
ignorance. That's
Yeah.
it. You're pointing to it so beautifully.
Yeah.
So I would celebrate it. And then as you wake up too, you can incline the mind. What I've learned to do is, there is that downtick of, hold yourself, but then open to what is there. Let that be the main focus. Hold yourself, acknowledge it, but then go there.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Right? And what we're learning in this mastery of practice is in the moment being able to choose where we place our awareness that's most skillful and onward leading and wholesome. So if you are awake, the agency is 100% up to you, And sometimes those downward spirals, compassion allows us to be with it so we don't miss the unfolding.
Thank you.
You're welcome, but I'm super happy for you. It made me just like, I was really excited. Thank you. Anybody else? And then we're going to move into some more practice. Thank you. Yeah. And back there. And say your name.
Hey, Lisa. Really enjoyed today. Thank you. I'm Gary.
Gary.
Yeah. Another share more than question.
Yeah, I love it.
guess,
I love
but
it. Share.
Still appreciate any insights. So this past week, I've been through a moment with my beloved partner at home of just tough moments.
Yeah.
It just led to like physical heart space
Absolutely.
clenching. And during our practice today, when I let the sun hit my heart, my body tremored physically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was different.
It landed. It landed.
I mean, yeah. And so I started
Beautiful.
started wishing my heart meta, right? And just
Yeah.
right. And I was like, okay, let's take care of you and just thank you for continuing to do your job
You need some love.
during these moments. Yeah. Well, what do you mean by that?
Well,
Oh, the heart needs
for
some
yourself,
love?
yeah.
Right.
Self,
Yeah.
and it's what I was going to focus on is self first. So go ahead, yeah.
But I mean, so the physical kind of like my body like jumped off the cushion a couple times during this practice. Like, you know, I don't know if you can share anything about that just because it's a new thing, but
Yeah.
it is that tenderness said, "Ouch! Don't you know that sun was too hot almost."
Oh, yeah.
It didn't want the heart didn't want to be touched.
Oh, is that how it felt? Because it's more from you.
It just
It was sudden.
Well, yeah, it felt so. I'm super
Yeah.
tender right now. So again, I know it's more of a share just
Thank you.
because
Thank you for sharing, though.
it was tough.
Are we all with him? And I'll just say that, once again, the compassion. And even in that jolting, only you kind of know what that is about for you, but you described it very beautifully. Thank you for sharing it with us. And that you can hold yourself with compassion as the heart is working through what it needs to work through in the light. It's interesting, in my experience, when the light is there, whatever needs to unfold, starts to happen. And it's not what you expect, right? That's how it is for me too. I just go, and it is like a physical experience. It's not a conceptual experience. So I would say it sounds like you moved into the light. And there's some healing there that starts to take place. So learning to trust that more, hold it with compassion. We all, when you were talking, everyone put their hand here. A lot of people did, right? We know. Well, we all kind of have a feeling of what that's like. I think it's a beautiful sign. And once again, I feel really happy for you that you're here, that you're practicing, and that you can find refuge here as you go through this. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Very tender and beautiful.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name's Gali.
Golly. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Lovely to sit with you for the first time. So I, over these years of practice, my heart's just so tender. And so
Tenderized.
it's easy for me to send love, and often before I come, like even before I came here this morning, like may everyone have the greatest experience, they're high. So it's easy to do that. And I realize in a way that my heart, it's true in my work, I'm a writer, that it's like my superpower. And I also realize I'm just like a super sensitive person. So part of me isn't as skillful when it comes to, like if I have a purpose, like when I was a journalist, I could be in Tiananmen Square or in a leper colony and my heart would open because I felt like I was really seeing people's humanity. It's more in my day-to-day life, especially with people in my sphere, like certain things become difficult, like it's like, and I realize like I can, where am I resting my gaze, as you so eloquently put, what's in my field of awareness right now. But there just are times that I'm like, why am I being like, even last night, I went to a beautiful, oh my God, this woman inspires me so much. It was her birthday. And I spent hours cooking and making something amazing for this great celebration. And I actually put like love into every kind of like ingredient I added. And then, she had a big party. It was a big birthday. And so at the very end, she was thanking people and she said, oh, and golly, thank you for bringing the ice. It's like, ice, honey. I brought ice, but like I cooked for 3 hours.
So you just felt that rising up of that, you know, a little bit of anger there. Yeah, and frustration.
Or it can be something harsh in the world. And I try, like with someone who's having a psychotic fit, like outside my apartment, it can annoy me, but I can also send love and not engage because there's nothing I can do there. But I do notice that I can be prickly in that way.
Absolutely.
So just seeking guidance and awareness. She's such a great soul. I could be candid with her at the appropriate moment.
Nice, good, yeah, good. Well, who knows? Who recognizes this? Thank you. And was there a question online? Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. So, and you know what? Kind of these 3 shares, which is great. They kind of flow into what I wanted to share. Was that it's beautiful, you know what? And I think how many of you recognize that your heart maybe does flow naturally to others more easily, and you just have, it's this innate capacity. And we, different levels, it's their superpower. Yeah. But I think what can happen is that we can run on empty when it's not shining to ourselves. And you were giving a lot. You were sometimes with that superpower, you need nothing back. But at some degree, there needs to be a balance where you're getting as much as you're giving internally, that you can let this be for you, and that you can not lose yourself in the giving of others. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that lands for you.
Yeah, no, it does. And I'm really wondering how you deepen that cultivation, because I don't want to stop being my best, joyful lover.
You just want to recharge your batteries all the time. It's like a, do you know these electric cars, when you're driving, it's charging, this kind of feeling? It's really kind of like that for me. So why don't I offer this practice, and then we can share with the time that we have. How many of you have taken mindful self-compassion? This is this class. I'm sure many of you have. What I love about it is what I'm going to do is offer you, and I do it all day long, is I give myself physical gestures. We were putting, all of us naturally start innately put our hands on our bodies and do this. So the way that I recharge and kind of bring it back and resource a little bit, resource meta for me, which often, it's a spiritual bypass if we're not getting it as well, right? And that's when we start to stumble a little bit in that, right? So, and let's do this together, and then I'm going to let you all share. Were there any other questions online, by the way? Or are we good to go? Okay, one? Okay, good. So here, and for those of you who've taken the class, of course, you might know this, but I'd like to walk you through this, where you play with different physical gestures. And as you do it, I'd like you to drop into the experience, the felt sense. So once again, this can really break the spell for me and bring us back into self-meta for ourselves, okay? So follow along with me. You can close your eyes, keep them a little bit open, but let's start just with one hand on the heart. And what we're going to do is we're going to try on for size, different gestures. And as you do, I want you to start to land into the warmth, and let the hand, as you place it on your heart, your chest, do so with such tenderness. I want you to really tenderly place your hand there, and I want you to feel the tenderness of your own hand and see if this makes you kind of melt into the warmth, into the light, right, of your own radiant care. And feel the warmth of, what's beautiful too, feel the warmth of your hand radiating into your heart, and just soak it up. And this is a practice that you can, and now if you want to put both hands on your heart, you can supercharge it a little bit. And really, you're just trying this on. So just see how it feels. Don't even work at it. Just try it on, and both hands on the heart, and just allow this to begin to bring you into an experience of kindness as a real thing in this moment, tangible, real. It kind of bypasses any argument in the mind, in my experience. And the other thing I'd like you to try, with both hands on the heart, you can even rock a little. Close your eyes, rock back and forth. Oh my God, sometimes I just need to be rocked. I'm like a little baby sometimes. So how's that feel? Does it bring some tenderness and some sweetness to yourself? You know, and as we heard people share, they shared really intimate, beautiful things. Sometimes we just need to be held and rocked, and there's no fix here. It's just bringing the light to ourselves and then trusting what unfolds from there. You just let it unfold. The other thing you can do also is just put one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. So just try it on, just see. Sometimes the belly's really good because, you know, they do say that the belly, and you can keep rocking, don't let me stop you. Whatever you like, whatever warms it up, whatever brings you into the truth of your own beautiful heart, shining, warm, in the light, right? In the light for yourself. You're in the light now. So you put your hand on your belly. The belly is the seat of our truth. And feel into that. Sometimes we really need to stand true to ourselves, maintain really clear boundaries, and know what is our truth. This is a deep metta practice. And how many of you, I don't know, you can just, as you hold and place your hand on your belly, we often can abandon our truth or sacrifice it, and we really pay the price. We suffer so much. It's hard to hold our truth, isn't it, everybody? Relationship to others in the world. You can put both hands on the belly if you want to, if this really resonates for you. It's nice to do hand on heart, hand on belly. It's kind of holding the heart and the truth. So resource into that and see if it does give you a sense of this. The other thing you can do is you can just place your head in your hand and just do this. Oh, it's so innocent, isn't it? Wow. You can use your other hand and just kind of like, oh, yeah. This may allow you to cry. And that's so good to hold yourself. You know, when a good friend does this for you and puts their hand on you, don't you just melt in their embrace? And so you're noticing this because this is the heart opening. It's coming out of the clouds and warming and loving you. It's already here, once again. You know, Rumi said, we're not finding love, we're learning to let go of all that's been built up against it, right? And then the last thing I'll offer is, you know, you can give yourself a hug. This may feel at times too much, but sometimes it's just right. Yeah, and rock a little. So are you guys vibing in this way? You starting to feel like you're basking in your own warm heart? And that this is often what's been missing for many of us, because we do naturally, it flows outward to others, and we're running on empty, right? And then we're surprised when we snap, or, you know. So we do need to juice up. We need to juice up, and we need to not forget ourselves, yeah. So this is what I'd love to do. If let's go into small groups and just share about what that felt like, what you noticed in this theme of like refilling the tank for yourself. And I guess the prompts I would give you is what supports metta for yourself in your life, what helps you do this in any way, and what gets in the way, what can obscure it. And if there's anything else you want to share about this topic, feel free. So groups of about 4 people online, is that okay? If you can put them into breakout groups. We're only going to take about 6 minutes, really, because then I want to come back for questions. And everyone here, just go into groups of 4 or so, turn to, yeah, you got 5, it can be groups of 4 or 5, whatever, yeah, there you go. Let's see if we can, yeah, there you go. And you can join with them, yeah. And you guys can be a big group. You guys, go ahead, yes. And turn your chairs around so you can really connect to each other. Make sure that you are really connecting. Great. There you go. Okay, good. And I'll just say, you know, you guys don't need much guidance around this, but The person who's closest to me can go first, then go around. The other people, just listen and feel and allow yourself in the listening to let it be an experience of metta, of light. Just be a light to the other people as they speak. Okay, go ahead. So another minute, make sure everyone has a chance. I'm just giving you another minute, so maybe a little bit more than that. Make sure everyone gets a chance to speak fully. Did everyone get a chance to share? Everybody, did everyone get a chance? So just a few more seconds as people finish up. Yeah, and thank your buddies in this lovely meta support. It's your buddy support, meta buddies. Yeah, and let's come back into the circle. Did everyone get a chance? Yeah? Okay. Wonderful. Come on back, everyone. It's hard to break out of the group. Maybe it just feels so nice. And that's evidence of metta and a heartfelt connection, the joy of that. It's beautiful, right? Feels so good, I hope. Wholesome and supportive. Aw, this group doesn't want to stop. Let's bring the people back from online. We just have a few minutes left. Did everyone there did you all get a chance? We don't want to break you up. It's so nice. So it gave me a lot of joy just to observe everybody sharing. And so really, how did that feel, everybody? How did that feel? And I'd like to, just with the minutes that we have left, open it up for any other questions or sharing, because I think on this terrain of metta for ourselves, I think that those gestures are portals into that. Did it feel like that for you? That are not abstract, that are direct in the present moment, and it's a felt sense. It's tangible, it's real. There's no way to deny this felt quality of that, and it can break the spell, right? So that's just a little way. The Buddha did say, I'm sure you've heard this quote, you can search the whole world over and find no one more deserving of your love and your kindness than yourself. Now that's very un-American. So there's a lot of conditioning there that we're learning to let go of, aren't we? We're just putting it down. We are leaving it, goodbye. That we do, it is a bypass, I think, unless we do start with ourselves in this profound way, and then we become free wherever we are. It's like that poem. I just love it. So any questions or sharing? Any wisdom, I'm sure, any themes in your group that you found to be really connecting and lovely that you'd love to share, or questions? I'm all ears. I'd love to know. Yes, Julie. Oh, yes. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie. It was really wonderful, the breakout, to share.
Yay.
Also, just noticing how powerful your hands are, my hands.
Yes.
And so when I touched my heart for a second jumped at my hand.
Oh, yeah.
that happened. And then
Wow.
I started crying immediately when I did that thing.
Yeah.
When I did
yeah.
that, just tears started coming down
Which
immediately.
is good.
Um,
Beautiful.
So the other thing is
Mm-hmm.
the power also comes from being in this space and being calm and quiet
The Sangha.
and meditating. So it's almost like, I think if I just did that just on my own, I don't know if I would feel that powerful. It wouldn't feel as
Yeah.
powerful. It felt that powerful, I think, because
Yeah, the space and the,
we were already primed for
yeah,
that connection.
yeah. Your heart was receptive.
Yes, it was already open. So that was
Yeah.
really cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have a question online?
No, but I'll share something.
Oh, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Alexis. I noticed that, like, when I feel a little closed off, then the encouragement of like a gesture of self-compassion, there's a part of me that's like, no, I refuse to do that. It's like, it's almost like too vulnerable with yourself a little bit. It's like too intimate, and it's like, no. But then actually doing it, it does end up softening. And then over time, like, my trust increases a little bit to like actually offer myself that and to feel like, yes, I want to offer myself that. But I feel like in the past, when I was encouraged towards like these gestures, I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
And then finally, it was really beautiful to just be able to see people like offering that to themselves. Like, I feel like I haven't seen people offering that to themselves. And that was just really sweet. Like, it's like, wow, that was wonderful.
Yeah, that's cool. How many of you relate to what Alexis said? I agree that even myself, when I'm a teacher of mindful self-compassion, and they call it backdraft. I had the experience, they call it that. I had the same experience when we were starting to do these. I had a thing of like, oh man, that's cheesy. That's so corny, man, and it can't be that easy. No, really. So that's part of the practice, but it's so beautiful the way you described it, the way you slowed down, the way you honored that. You listened, you heard it, you stayed with it, and then you still were like, well, let's just see for myself what happens. And but I agree with you. That's what happened with me. There was all this pushback, which is the conditioned mind. It's all that's been built up against it. We do need to, it's a purification process. We do need to experience what's in the way sometimes first, in a mindful way with a lot of support. And what's so beautiful too is watching other people do it and seeing it works for them. You go, oh, I want some of that. Okay, I'm gonna try. So it's beautiful to be in a group, I think, because we can start to normalize this, and you can go, oh, I'm not the only one. So thank you for that. It's very normal. I experienced it too, but now I do it all day long. Makes me want to cry. Anyone else? I know we're almost, oh yes, Roz.
My name is Roz. Happy to be here with all of you. I just would like to comment on a visualization I had at the beginning when you had the sun come out, and it really made me cry what happened. So all of us were standing up, and we were holding sunflowers, and all of a sudden we started to rise up, and the sunflowers were like this golden aura. And we were floating around the world spreading seeds of like kindness and love and compassion.
Oh, I'm covered with goosebumps.
And then
Are you guys all feeling it?
is that all around the world, people in like dark houses with their shutters drawn and their curtains drawn would peek out and say, what's going on with all these people? And like, some of them are saying, we need to come on board. So that's what happened. So it made me feel like the power that we have. We're all kind of kindred souls in a way being here.
Yeah.
What kind of power we have, you know,
Yeah.
of manifesting these values in the world, and maybe we
Yeah.
can get some people to come out of their dark
Yeah,
spaces.
yeah, hallelujah to that. Thank you, Roz. Did you all get covered with chills with that? And I'm also wondering if I did say in the guidance, I don't know if you heard me, if something's wanting to happen, just let it happen in your practice. Don't let anything I say interfere, because when metta does start to shine, these things, these realizations, it's so beautiful. And I mean, I think that practicing metta for ourselves and then letting it shine outward naturally, we are of service. And I do think that somehow there's some truth to it being felt everywhere. So I think it sounds real to me. May it be so. So we flew around today, huh? A little bit? Yeah, how beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. It's very inspiring, very true. Anyone oh yes, there's someone online. Yeah. We may go a few minutes over if that's okay, everyone. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Ashley. I just wanted to say that a lot of what we've talked about this morning reminds me of a brief part of a Rumi poem, if I could read it.
Yes, please.
It's called A Community of the Spirit.
Hmm.
There's a community of the spirit. Join it and feel the delight of walking in the noisy street and being the noise. Drink all of your passion and be a disgrace. Close both eyes to see with the other eye. Open your hands if you want to be held.
Ah. I'm getting chills, more chills.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, thank you so much. Isn't that beautiful, everyone? What's the name of the poem again so everyone can find it? Because it's a great one to put really on your mirror or whatever. So what is it called again?
A Community of the Spirit. It's by Rumi, and that's not the full poem, that's just the beginning.
That's right, it's good. So isn't that a perfect name for it? And here we are, a community of the spirit. And even that gesture of just opening your hands when you're meditating, physicalizing your practice really makes it real in the present moment. Noticing you can just do this and open your hands, like in that beautiful, in that intentionality of letting yourself to be touched. Isn't that beautiful to open? When we open, it does flow in. Now that is my experience. Isn't that fabulous? So may we all be, and I want to read, thank you. Is there any last sharing? I know we're over time, but is there any last sharing of anybody? Questions? Do you all feel full? I hope. Yeah, and connected. Are we feeling the joy of this sweetness, like honey? I'll read this from the Buddha that I think captures it so beautifully of what we're really cultivating here. And I'll be here next week. And what I'd like, bring a friend, come back. And I'd like to continue to really cultivate this joy in different ways, okay? Does that sound good? So we'll end, and I dedicate the merit to all of us, in this spirit of opening our hands in that Rumi way. May it be so, and may you really be free in every moment. May your heart find itself, maybe come home. May every moment be an opportunity to land into true welcoming, true homecoming. May it be so. And this is a beautiful quote from the Buddha. The thought manifests as the word manifests as the deed develops into habit, and habit hardens into character. So watch the thought and its ways with care, and let it spring from love, born out of concern for all beings. As the shadow follows the body, as we think, so we become. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day and stay awake. Stay awake. Oh, please, Alexis, thank you. Deep bow. Thank you.
And I'll just thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you all of you for your presence and practice today. It's such a wonderful experience today. I just wanted to encourage you, if you'd like, we have tea and cookies and snacks. If you'd like to spend some time for fellowship after the group, we will love to have you join us. And also, as an extension of that, some of you were at our potluck that we just had the other Sunday, which was lovely. Yeah, and we're going to do it again on August 25th. So we would love to have you join us for that. And if it's your first time and we don't have your email, you're not on our email list, please feel free to share it with us at the front so that we can send you info for our offerings and make sure you're in tune with the potluck, which is we're excited about, right? Yeah, we're excited about it. Yes, so that, and then also if anyone who hasn't done so would like to offer Lisa any donations for her energy exchange, we can also help you with that at the front too. So thank you so much, and it was absolutely lovely. Thank you.